All right, let's look at some books. Hey guys, welcome back. The June picks are here for book of the month. So let's dive in and see what their picks are. I actually don't feel like there are a ton of books coming out in June that I'm like super aware of or like super excited for. So I'm actually really curious to see what they've picked for this month. Okay, so we have 5 selections this month. So as always, currently there is a poll live right now within the first 24 hours of this video where you can choose which of these June book of the month picks I choose to do a spoiler talk on. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss the spoiler talk when it comes out. June is here. Very excited, hoping that there's something good. Okay, so first up is The Wishing Game. I have not heard of this. It's a contemporary fiction debut. This moving, transportive story follows 4 bookish souls competing for a rare book from their favorite author. I just imagine like 4 librarians like being like, that's a special edition. Okay, so it's quirky, buzzy, puzzle, and underdog. Make a Wish. Lucy Hart knows better than anyone what it's like to grow up without parents who loved her. In a childhood marked by neglect and loneliness, Lucy found her solace in books, namely the Clock Island series by Jack Masterson. Now a 26-year-old teacher's age, she is able to share her love of reading with bright, young students, especially 7-year-old Christopher Lamb, who was left orphaned after the tragic death of his parents. Lucy would give anything to adopt Christopher, but even the idea of becoming a family seemed like an impossible dream without proper funds and stability. Just when Lucy is about to give up, Jack Masterson announces he's finally written a new book. Even better, he's holding a contest at his home on the real Clock Island, and Lucy is one of the 4 lucky contestants chosen to compete and win the one and only copy. That sounds so stupid. This literally makes me think of the writing retreat, that thriller that was from however many months ago, where it was like, oh, aspiring authors can come to my writing my house for a writing retreat, and whoever wins gets the book published. For Lucy, the chance of winning the most sought-after book in the world means everything to her and Christopher, but first she must contend with ruthless book collectors, wily opponents, and the distractingly handsome and grumpy Hugo Reese. Hugo, I think that Lucy is looking for a daddy for Christopher. Hugo Reese, the illustrator of the Clock Island books. Illustrator? Are these children's books? I'm so confused. Meanwhile, Jack, the mastermind Masterson, does he call himself that? He's plotting the ultimate twist ending that could change all of their lives forever. ... You might just get it. I kind of want to read this just because it sounds so ridiculous. So my question is there an author out there for any of you where it's like, if they were releasing 1 copy of a book, would you compete for it? I can't really think of any authors where I'd be like, I must compete to read this book. 4.38. I mean, it has pretty good ratings. Oh, okay, so Goodreads is saying that it's okay, so they said it was contemporary fiction. Goodreads is saying it's fantasy, fiction, romance, magical realism. Obviously, I like the romance aspect of it. I bet her and Hugo are gonna have some moments. I'm very conflicted about that one. Okay, Ink Blood Sister Scribe. This is also a debut. In this epic adventure, 2 estranged sisters bear the weighty responsibility to protect their magical family library. This one, I feel like I know about it because for some, I thought it was so strange. I think it's Illumicrate sent out an email saying that they're doing like a special edition specifically of this book, and like you can pre-order it or buy it on their website, whatever. And I remember being like, I don't know anything about this, but I have heard of this because of that. Okay, 400 plus pages, LGBTQ plus themes, multiple viewpoints, and book about books. The Calote family has guarded a collection of ancient and rare books. Books that let a person walk through walls or manipulate the elements. Books of magic that half-sisters Joanna and Esther have been raised to revere and protect. All magic comes with a price, though, and for years the sisters have been separated. Esther has fled to a remote base in Antarctica, to escape the fate that killed her own mother, and Joanna's isolated herself in the family home in Vermont, devoting her life to the study of these cherished volumes. After their father suddenly dies while reading a book that Joanna has never seen, the sisters must reunite to preserve their family legacy. In the process, they'll uncover a world of magic far bigger and more dangerous than they ever imagined, and their secrets their parents kept hidden, secrets that span centuries, continents, and even other libraries. I personally think that synopsis sucks, the way it was written, etc. I think that sounds boring, but I feel like this is like one of those situations where the book is actually probably very good, because I remember reading the synopsis of Babel and being like, that sounds boring and stupid, and then I actually read the book and I was like, oh my god, this book's so good. So this, for some reason, this kind of reminds me of that, where it's like, okay, your synopsis is terrible, but I feel like it's going to be a good book. So this is also a Good Morning America book club pick, if that means anything to you. 416 pages. Again, I feel like this is one that is going to be good. I just think that the synopsis makes it sound really boring. She started it. Does anybody else have siblings? I feel like that's me and my sister. She started it. Is this another debut? Are these all? Oh my god, there are 4 debuts? Jeez. Well, if you're trying to get your little badges for your debut thing, you have a lot of choices this month. Revenge is a dish best served with champagne. And on this remote tropical island, it's the only thing on the menu. Okay, champagne is the only thing on the menu, or revenge is the only thing on the menu? Multiple viewpoints, action-packed, oh, I love unreliable narrators. And I also love unlikable narrators. Content warning, self-harm. Annabelle, Esther. Oh, we have another Esther. Tanya and Chloe are best friends, or were as children. Despite drifting apart in childhood, shared secrets have them bonded for better or worse. I am getting a little sick of these thrillers that are having these people remain close just because they have shared secrets. I liked it with What Happened in the Woods in January. And then we had this also in The Only Survivors, and that book was so stupid. And it just made no sense. And if this book is like that book, I'm already irritated. Even as their childhood dreams haven't quite turned out the way they hoped. One day they receive a wholly unexpected and not entirely unwelcome invitation from another old friend. Poppy has invited them on her extravagant bachelorette party. First class plane ticket to 3 days of white sand cocktails, relaxing on a luxe private island in the Bahamas. None of them has spoken to Poppy in years. Then why would you go to her bachelorette party? Why would she invite you? But Poppy's Instagram pics show that the girl they used to consider the weakest link in their group has definitely made good and made money. Curiosity gets the better of them. Besides, who can turn down a posh, all expenses paid vacation on a Caribbean island? If you are not friends with the person, you should not go. The first class flight and the island's accommodations are just as opulent as expected, even if the scenic island proves more remote than they'd anticipated. Quite remote, in fact, with no cell service and no other guests. The women quickly discover they've underestimated Poppy and each other. As their darkest secrets are revealed, the tropical adventure morphs into a terrifying nightmare. Poppy wants you dead. 4.14. I'm surprised that feels higher than I feel like it should be. 352 pages. Oh, good. This one actually comes out in June 13th. I mean, that cover is beautiful, but God, I think it sounds so stupid. I feel like I'm being very judgy this month. I feel like I'm not very impressed. Okay, Lady Tran's Circle of Women, a sumptuous tale about female friendship and leadership in the 15th century China, challenging women's place in society. Feminist family drama Slow Bill International. Content warnings, miscarriage. According to Confucius, an educated woman is a worthless woman. All right. But Tan, born into an elite family yet haunted by death, separations, and loneliness, is being raised by her grandparents to be of use. Her grandmother is one of only a handful of female doctors in China, and she teaches Youngston the pillars of Chinese medicine, the 4 examinations: looking, listening, touching, and asking, something a man can never do with a female patient. From a young age, she's learned about women's illnesses, many of which relate to childbearing, along with a young midwife in training. 2 girls find fast friendship, mutual purpose, despite the prohibition that a doctor should never touch blood while a midwife comes in frequent contact with it. They vow to be forever friends, sharing each other's joys and struggles. When she's sent into a arranged marriage, her mother-in-law forbids her from seeing her friend, from helping the women and girls in the household. She must act like a proper wife, embroider bound-foot slippers, pluck instruments, recite poetry, give birth to sons, and stay forever within the walls of the family compound. The Garden of Fragrant Delights. Woof. Ooh, 4.45. This book is doing quite well. 368 pages, June 6th. Finally, another June book. Very interesting. Okay, so it's inspired by the true story of a woman physician from 15th century China. That's pretty cool. So I feel like if you like historical fiction, that would be a really, really interesting read. Okay, so our last one is a literary fiction, and it's Banyan Moon. A dilapidated Florida mansion is more than a home in this multi-generational story of Vietnamese mothers and daughters. Multiple viewpoints, mama drama, infidelity, and immigration. Anne has built a seemingly perfect life, a beautiful lake house, a charming professor boyfriend, and invites to elegance parties that bubble over with champagne and good taste. But it all crumbles with one positive pregnancy test. With both her relationship and carefully planned future now in question, Anne returns home to Florida to face her estranged mother. Back in Florida, we are simultaneously mourning the death of the mother and resenting her for having a relationship with Anne that she never did. Okay, Grandma left mom and daughter the crumbling manor that was Anne's childhood home in its strange gothic glory. I love gothic like houses in stories. Under the same roof for the first time in years, mother and daughter must face the simmering questions of their past and uncertain futures while trying to rebuild their relationship without the one person who's always held them together. Running parallel to this is Min's story as she goes from a love-struck teenager living in the shadow of the Vietnam War to a determined young mother immigrating to America in search of a better life for her children. When Anne makes a shocking discovery in the house's attic, long-buried secrets come to light as it becomes clear how many decisions she made in her youth that affected the rest of her life and beyond. Spanning decades and continents from 1960s Vietnam to the wild swamplands of the Florida coast, stunning and deeply moving novel about mothers and daughters, the things we inherit, and the lives we choose to make out of that inheritance. Dang, this one's 4.17. Oh, look, finally a book that comes out at the end of June. Comes out June 27th. Goodreads is also saying it's somewhat historical fiction as well, which kind of makes sense since it seems like it's like alternate timelines, like moving back and forth. Okay, so I'm gonna pretend like I'm making The Wishing Game my pick, just so that I can see the add-ons, but I'm not actually picking it because you guys get to pick my book for me. So go vote if you haven't voted yet. The 5-Star Weekend, that's new. True Love Experiment was there last month. I think those 2 were there last month too. The Whispers, I don't know. Okay, what? A suburban neighborhood devolves into chaos when a boy mysteriously falls out of his bedroom window. Another literary fiction. Wife, mom, serial killer clone. Whoa. Wife, mom, serial killer victim clone. In this futuristic twist on domestic suspense, a woman tries to solve her own murder. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Okay, so that is it for the June picks. I'm not super excited with the picks that they have, but at the same time, there weren't a ton of books coming out in June that I was like, oh my gosh, so excited for. I'm very curious to see what book you guys pick for the spoiler talk this month. So that poll is live for 24 hours after this video comes out. So don't forget to go vote in that. As always, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you next time. Bye.